And we're back with Professor Gorokovich of Lehman College, who led a group of students from Lehman and a couple of other university professors who also went with him to Peru to study the impact of earthquakes. Very fascinating stuff that we're learning. But one of our students, one of my students, actually one of the students in this class that produces this program, Andrea Diaz, was part of that group that went to Peru, and we forced her to be part of in front of the camera today. Normally she's behind the cameras. Welcome to the show, Andrea.
Thank you.
Tell me about what your experience was like.
It was actually a great experience. Everything started for me way before we went to Peru, because I had to translate all the surveys that we did from English to Spanish. And then when we got to Peru, as he mentioned before, we had a little trouble with some words, because I translated it my way, but I guess in Peru they had their own words of saying stuff.
And you're from, tell people where you're from.
I'm Ecuadorian.
Okay, and Ecuadorian Spanish may be a little different than Peruvian Spanish.
Yeah.
Okay.
A lot of words we didn't understand each other, so we have to like rewrite the survey, a couple of questions and all that. So everything started back then for me.
So you helped prepare that questionnaire that people received?
Yeah.
In Spanish?
In Spanish,
okay.
Yeah, translated.
So tell me about your experience going door to door now and telling people, okay, help me fill this out. How were people friendly? Were they receptive to this idea?
Actually, everyone there was really friendly with us. We were in charge of 5 Peruvian people there. It was 2 people from America and then the 5 people from Peru. And we actually had to like help them out with the questionnaire if they have any problems, to help them out. And our job, me and my colleague, my friend there, we had to actually go inside the houses to do the damage assessment. It was like to see the structure of the house, like the type of destruction that they had, the materials that they used in the house. And we did around 30 houses per cluster, and we did 2 clusters per day. So we had to like run on buses, we had to run on cabs, we have to like find the point.
So you were visiting 60 homes a day?
Yeah, around 60 homes a day.
Wow. Mm-hmm. For how long? You were there for like a week or 2 weeks?
A week and a half. For a week and a half.
So it wasn't a vacation in Peru at all. It was a lot of work.
Yeah, we had to do a lot of work. We had some free time too, but we did a lot of work. Okay,
and did you find it fulfilling? Did you feel like, you know, the mission was worthwhile once you were there and you did all this stuff?
I think it was really a really good experience because of the work we did there and because of the people we worked with, and the Peruvian people were really nice to us when we got there. And I guess I had an advantage over everyone else because I'm a native speaker. Mm-hmm. So all the Peruvians used to come to me and ask me questions and the things that we were doing for them and how we're going to help them out with the service that we were doing and all that.
Professor, how did she do?
She did very well. She was great. She was a star.
Really?
She was a star, yeah.
Well, we're very happy to have you here. Professor, we have more pictures and a couple of maps that are very important, and then both of you can kick in and tell us a little more about this. Tell me a little bit more about the pictures and the type of construction that you found.
Yeah,
look at this. This shows incredible destruction.
Right, and that house actually, as you can see, it's apparently it didn't stand, disaster just because, again, it was not reinforced. And that's what you see here, and some other houses you see like pillars here, like columns.
Now, so the casualty, do you recall?
Casualty, total in this earthquake, they got something like 319 people dead. And then there was 1,300 people wounded, injured, mm-hmm. and displaced was about 58.
What time of the day did this happen?
It happened in the evening.
And then sleeping? Were they awake?
People were. It was late in the day, so people were either home. That was bedtime actually, and so many people just died because of that.
So if you find yourself in this situation and you're in a building that's about to happen to your building, what do? You run out in the street? You stand in the middle of the street?
If you have tall houses, tall building around you, it may not be a good idea unless you're sure that they build, to the code or they're very strong, because they can collapse and bury you there.
In fact, I found that when I went to Colombia. I found people who actually ran out, stood in front of this building that was shaking, and then the building fell on top of them. People who were actually just standing there watching died for no reason.
It's a big problem in urban environment because everything is so close to each other. But one of the good things, like this sign which we saw before, was to stand under the door sill and basically find a small place where you can just fit and stand there, not to move. Here is example also when Andrea was doing survey in
this is what you would find inside the houses, right?
Yes, you don't see that from outside. From outside you might see the perfect facade of the building, everything looks fine, and then you go inside and you see this kind of things. And as you can see, people still living here. In this case, the roof is made out of cane and wood, which is fine. And even if it's collapsed, people will not be damaged too much, but still people live like this because they don't have any place to go. And that's what you see inside the houses. So that was actually finding which we made when we were there. Because originally we were coming to the house describing damages from outside.
Does the Peruvian government have building inspectors that go out and say this is structurally unsafe? And
yeah,
Actually,
they have them.
do they remove people?
Actually, they have like they created a system, an X and a circle. And the X means that nobody can live there, and the circle means that somebody can live there because it was okay. But the thing is that people there, they don't have nowhere else to live. So even if they have the X, there were still people living in there, and the house was almost like completely demolished, but there were people there living. So I guess the government is not like insuring that much that they have to move from there.
Yeah.
And people, they don't do it because they don't have no other place to move.
So here is an example, actually, it's very interesting. That's a picture shows you, it's a school. And as you can see, it doesn't have obvious, structural damages. What you can see here is that the lower part is built of adobe, and then the upper part is built from very interesting material. And there's a specific construction, very specific to Peru, and it's called quincha. And the quincha is a combination of the cane with the clay. So when you have
Sugar cane?
no,
Cane?
I think regular cane or how it's called?
Bamboo?
No, in a lake. Reeds.
Okay.
Reeds, not cane, reeds. And then these reeds form a combination of clay and reeds. This is basically what this wall is. Now, this is very flexible structure. So when the earthquake happens, that's good. And especially second floor, because the amplitude of the movement increases with the height. So then the building is able to actually withstand this damage.
Now, did they use this material on purpose because it was an earthquake area, or did they just happen
That's
to use
what they use since, all days, since all times.
So it's not because of earthquakes that they use this?
No, they use because it's very cheap, it's very light, and it's very flexible. Now, if you look at the school here, you can see there's a few damages, but again, the building is pretty much, I have some cracks, but the building itself, it was not ruined. It was built at the beginning of like 1900s. It's a school. So that construction, actually, a combination of adobe and quincha can work, and it's cheap. For example, adobe house to build in Peru, you have to spend $20 per square meter. And if you want a brick, it's going to cost you $200 to $250 per square meter. So you see, it's a big difference. So
people basically cannot afford many times to find or to build a safe earthquake safe house.
That's correct. I mean, unless you're very good, unless you have money, you can afford to do that.